You know, when you think about who built the internet in a country like Italy, your mind probably jumps to the big telecom giants, right? Well, what if I told you that's not the real story? The real story is about a group of scrappy, passionate entrepreneurs who, against all odds, connected an entire nation from the ground up. So let's dive into this incredible story of the true pioneers of the network. So, meet the real heroes of this story: small, independent internet service providers. We're talking way before broadband was a household name. These were the folks on the ground investing their own cash, laying the actual groundwork, and literally creating the Italian internet market from absolutely nothing. They were the real pioneers. I want you to picture the early days of the web. It was kind of like the Wild West, right? And in Italy, it was these local entrepreneurs who really saw what was coming. They didn't sit around waiting for some big national plan. Nope. They just took the initiative, community by community, bringing the magic of dial-up and later broadband to places nobody else would even think of going. And their whole approach was grassroots. It had to be. See, they knew the local landscape. They knew the people. They got the unique needs of every small town and region. This wasn't about some massive top-down infrastructure project. This was about building a real, living network with passion and local smarts, one single connection at a time. But just as this amazing, vibrant market was starting to take off, the giants showed up. The big, established telephone companies saw the money to be made, and they didn't just enter the market to compete, they came in to dominate. All of a sudden, the very pioneers who built the whole industry were facing a threat to their very existence. And this slide just lays out the conflict perfectly. On one side, you've got the independent ISPs. They're nimble, they're innovative, they're deeply plugged into their communities. And on the other side, the monopolies, all about market dominance, old infrastructure, and some pretty nasty anti-competitive behavior. It was a classic David versus Goliath story, playing out for the future of Italy's internet. So, faced with this incredible pressure, the pioneers realized a pretty fundamental truth, one that holds true in any business. If you're divided, you're gonna fall. To survive, and to actually fight for a fair shot, they had to start speaking with one single, powerful voice. It was time to team up. And this quote just nails their mission. In July of 1999, they formed Assoprovider for this exact reason. This wasn't just about business strategy. For them, it was a crusade, a fight against the unfair power plays that were choking out innovation and threatening to tear down everything they had worked so hard to build. This timeline really shows you the cause and effect so clearly. The crisis in the 90s directly leads to them banding together. And you know what? It paid off big time. Just a few years later, in 2002, they scored a huge victory, the Salvo Provider law. This law was a game changer. It officially recognized them, putting them on equal legal footing with the big telecom operators and securing their right to compete. The alliance had actually worked. But that first win, that was really just the beginning. For more than 2 decades now, Assoprovider has been on the front lines, fighting and winning these crucial battles that have fundamentally reshaped Italy's entire digital world for the better. One of their absolute biggest fights was against the #1 player in the market. I mean, this was a fight that honestly most people thought was completely impossible to win. But they won. Following a complaint that Assoprovider led, the National Antitrust Authorities slammed Telecom Italia with a €152 million fine for abusing its dominant position. And look, this wasn't just about the cash. It was a massive statement that no company, no matter how big, was above the rules of fair play. It changed the market and teaches a really important lesson. Unified, persistent action can hold even the biggest players accountable. And then there was the fight for Wi-Fi. Back in 2005, because they just wouldn't give up, Assoprovider pushed through something called the Landolfi Decree. This was huge because it liberalized the use of Wi-Fi in outdoor public spaces, a single move that unlocked incredible potential for wireless access across the whole country. And the wins just kept on coming. Each one a really strategic move to make the digital world a fairer place. They got rid of outdated rules like the installer's license, they reformed contribution rules to crack the telecom oligopoly, and they even won a Supreme Court case that said, hey, a company's value is in its skills, not just the size of its bank account. Every single victory leveled the playing field just a little bit more. So that brings us to today. Who are these pioneers now? Well, that whole legacy of fighting from the ground up has evolved into this really unique and powerful identity that defines their strength in our modern digital age. In 2021, they found the perfect name to describe themselves: proximity operators. And it just captures their essence perfectly, doesn't it? They are the operators who are close to the land, close to the customers, and they're the absolute backbone of connectivity in those market failure areas. The places that big companies often just ignore. And let's be clear, their network is serious business. Today, Assoprovider is a powerful alliance of 175 member companies. Just let that sink in. That's 175 local experts, all deeply woven into the fabric of their communities, working together as a critical part of Italy's digital ecosystem. This isn't one giant corporation. It's a dynamic, nationwide network. And when you put them all together, they are a major economic force. Their combined annual turnover is 242 million euros. So this shows we're not talking about some small niche group here. This is a powerful engine for local economies all across the country, proving the incredible value that this network of small and medium-sized businesses brings to the table. And if you need a visual, this map tells the entire story. Their presence reaches into every single province in Italy. It's like a web of connectivity. These are the frontline soldiers in the fight against the digital divide, making absolutely sure that no community gets left in the dark. And this is what truly sets them apart. This quote isn't just a clever tagline. It's their whole philosophy. It means that when you have a problem, you're not talking to a massive, anonymous call center on the other side of the planet. No, you're talking to a neighbor, someone who gets your local context. That right there, that's the power of proximity. So building on this incredible history and this really unique strength, Assoprovider isn't just sitting around looking at the past. They have a clear, practical vision for what's next, and they're positioning themselves as a key strategic partner in building a truly connected Italy for everyone. And their ideas are both practical and powerful. They're pushing for fair wholesale markets so that everyone gets a real shot. They want to simplify regulations to cut through the red tape and get people investing again. They're focused on boosting local digital skills and implementing permanent connectivity vouchers for disadvantaged areas. It's a full roadmap for a more inclusive digital future, and it makes them an essential partner in Italy's growth. So in the end, the story of Assoprovider is this powerful reminder of what local innovation and collective action can achieve. They built the internet of the past, they are the absolute backbone of the present, and they have a clear-eyed vision for the future. And so the question they're posing to all potential partners is really the most important one of all. How can we build that future together?